imagine living in one place for so long, then moving somewhere else where everything is done differently than what you're used to? It can be quite a culture shock. Today, I want to contrast for you the culture difference in living styles between California and Palestine. Growing up, I was born and raised in California. However, in the 2nd grade, my parents decided to take me and my siblings to live where they were born, Palestine. You can imagine what a big change it must have been moving all the way across the country where living styles are completely different. The biggest change for me was the clothing, language, and even the housing. In California, we vary in many different styles and are mostly free to dress the way we want to express ourselves. However, in Palestine, the clothing differs immensely. Once getting settled out in the Middle East, immediately people knew we were new to the country simply just from the way we dressed. In the Middle East, the dress code is a lot more stricter, and a lot of the people, they're covered from head to toe. For the young woman, clothing wasn't a certain style. However, it differed from California because it was more stricter, and a lot of the girls covered as much as possible. And for the older women, a common outfit would be the traditional dress called a thobe or a jalaya, and underneath they wore pants. And the necklines varied. They were either round with chestlets, or they were V-neck, or they were scoop neck, and the sleeves were either tight or loose. Also, depending on the woman's choice, they wore a scarf, also known as hijab, which is a headwear to cover their hair for religious reasons. Here I have a picture of my mom and her friends at a young age. You can see the school uniform, which is conservative, shows very little skin. And then here, I have a picture of me and my friends on a typical night of California. You can see much more variety, shorts, accessories, scarves, more to express of how we are as people. Next, I have a picture of my grandma and my mom. And here you can see the traditional dress with also the hijab. And then here you can see my mom now. You can see the drastic change. She went from, the hijab to the long dress to more fitted, more skin showing. For the young men, a casual outfit was your regular t-shirt and jeans. However, the style did differ for the elderly men, who, like the women, also wore the thobe, the traditional dress, and had a long coat over. And also they did have headwear. However, instead of the scarves, they wore either a skull cap, a fez, a turban, or kafaya. Here you can see the common outfit for the men, which is the thobe, the long dress, and then they wore a coat over. And here you can see this is a skull cap, which is just a round fitted cap. And here is the kafaya. And we have the fez and the turban. Besides the change in clothing, another thing that got some getting used to was, of course, the language. I was born and raised to speaking the popular American language, English. So moving somewhere where English wasn't widely known, and instead everyone either spoke Arabic, and in different parts even sometimes Hebrew, made it a big and hard change. Arabic ranks 6th in the world's league table of languages. It means it's the 6th hardest language in the world with 2 different types. We have the classical Arabic, which is the language of the Quran, originally the dialect of Mecca, which is now Saudi Arabia, and the modern standard Arabic, which is used in books, newspapers, television, radio, and in mosques and in a conversation between 2 educated Arabs. From reading to writing to even being able to pronounce a word, the language spoken in Palestine is completely different from the English language. And here, I have a video of my mom. First, she's going to be speaking about herself in English, then she's going to be translating it to Arabic, just so you can see what it sounds like.
Here, we have a demonstration of the English and the Arabic language. We are going to start with the English language. Go ahead, Mother.
Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Emma Arifai. I am
now we're going to translate that into Arabic. So give us a taste of the Arabic language.
مرحبا، كيفكم؟ أنا رفاعي، أنا بسكن بدايموند بار، كاليفورنيا. أنا فنانة عربية، بحب غني وبحب أعمل ركض ورياضة المشي. بشكركم كثير وبتمنى أشوفكم قريب. شكرا.
Thank you, Old.
As you can see, sounds nothing like the English language, and it's very challenging. Besides the adjustments in clothing and language, there's difference in housing in the Middle East. In California, you can drive around and see all kinds of different homes with different shapes, styles, sizes, color, and so on. In Palestine, there's no traditional wooden house. Instead, all the homes are made up of large white bricks. This takes away a lot from the variety because pretty much all the homes, condos, apartments, for the most part, look the same. They're pretty much only differences the size and, of course, the floor plan. And because the housing is different, it makes the whole scenery different. So just driving down the street, looking at homes alone, you can see a major difference in the scenery. Here, I have a picture of my house in Palestine. You can see it's the white bricks, typical just square, and it's just, complexes on top of each other. And then my house out here where it's your typical, American home. Moving to Palestine was one of the hardest moves I had to make, especially because it differs from California so much. From the changes in clothing to learning the sixth hardest language in the world, to having to even wake up to a different view every morning. And although it was a great experience, I'm glad to be back in California, my home. Thank you.
So, Chrissy, we moved you down into this spot. What did you think?
I liked the intro, like how she had a question, and I like how she used examples about her own life, and she had good eye contact, clear ideas, and pretty good transitions, and I liked her conclusion.
Okay. I thought you did a nice job taking something that might have been just too much of a personal story and turning it into something that is a little more generalizable for an audience, talking about the different places and doing a contrast there. I thought worked effectively. Most people are going to understand what it is like living in California. I mean, that's your audience, basically, so they're not too surprised about those things. But the juxtaposition of your having to move there and some of the differences I thought were nicely explained. I was a little concerned at first because it seemed like you spent a lot of time when you were talking about the clothing differences, and I'm thinking, well, where's that shot? There's got to be a picture. I can't believe that she's not taking advantage of this opportunity. And then, just as I was about to despair, then they showed up. I said, oh, okay, then it makes sense. And I thought you did that pretty well the rest of the speech. It just seemed like it took a little bit longer to get going than I thought it was going to. But when you showed the pictures, I thought that was pretty effective. I thought that you could have done a little bit more explaining why the clothing differences exist, what is traditional about all of the different things that you talked about, why they are selected. I know there are cultural issues and there's conservative dress that's going on. Is that religiously based? Is it just because there's limited exposure to other fashions or something like that? Is it got something to do with the hierarchies of the family or something like that? I mean, there are people who have analyzed and talked about those kinds of things. I think you get a little bit more into that. You kind of got on the surface of it, and so